All right, everybody, good morning. What is up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And today we are going to be talking about XDefiant's combat record. I had taken a screenshot of like so many things, and for whatever reason, I just cannot find them right now, or else I'd put like some sort of version of it on the screen for you. But anyway, long story short, the XDefiant combat record was something in the beta that was just basically a page with very basic information, but nonetheless, I'm very sure that it was just kind of a placeholder thing up until the final combat record came into play. Now, as far as combat record goes and statistics and stuff like that, pages like that, I'd probably have to say that one of the best, if not the best we've ever had in terms of an arcade first-person shooter was probably Call of Duty Black Ops 1, according to a lot of people. And obviously one of the worst that we've ever had was probably Black Ops 4. It was basically non-existent in the first place, right? But there are some people out there that love the combat record. Like, even when I totally sucked at these types of games, I still appreciated and loved the combat record, believe it or not. So it's not just something that is a cool feature to have just for people that are good at the game or that are sweaty or competitive players, but it's also a feature that even the most casual players can appreciate, especially when you get to the point to where you've got these like a layout of the map and red dots of where you got killed at, and blue dots where you got your kills. I think if somebody utilizes those, which most people do not, but if they utilize those, it can actually really get them to strategize to where it's like, okay, I'm dying here over and over again, so it's like, maybe I shouldn't go to that part of the map, or I should just take that approach on how I get to that part of the map differently, because I seem to be dying there over and over and over again, so I'm doing something wrong, so maybe I need to change something up, you know? And then of course, you got your weapon stats and all that kind of good stuff. And then obviously for XDefiant, there's probably going to be no doubt that there's going to be some sort of faction stat, because the factions play a big role in this game. So I'm pretty sure that it's going to be something that's going to be very important for a lot of players. A lot of players are going to want to see which faction they're using the most and all that other stuff. And plus there's faction stats. So now, when it comes to a combat record, first I want to know, first and foremost, do you believe that it is something that is a cool feature, definitely important to have, or do you guys think that it is actually not an important feature? And the reason why I ask this is because some people out there they care about stats so much that they're gonna play for stats instead of playing for the win. This is not a new discussion. This is something that's been happening for quite a long time within the Call of Duty community, and a lot of people really do consider, kill death ratio the best stat. It is a pretty strong stat, but it's not everything. I personally think that the win-loss stat is the one that matters the most. Like, if you're, what else do you play for? You play for the win, right? So I think win-loss is more important than KD, but not everybody will. Not everybody's going to agree with me. And at the same time, I think win-loss and KD and score per minute, like all those together, are what really just get you a really clear indication of how good a player is. Now, as far as combat record goes as well, do you guys think that it should be accessible by different players in the lobby? In other words, what I mean is, like, should a player be able to highlight your gamer tag and basically be able to see your combat record? Or do you guys think that it should be just something that you could access and then that's it? For me personally, I think it should be just something that I should access, or maybe even give the player the option on whether or not it should be open or closed, or open or private. And the reason why I say this is because sometimes what ends up happening is, like, the players in the lobby will play with you for like one match, and then if you play really well and beat their butts, they're going to highlight you and they're going to look at your combat record, and then once they see what they see compared to theirs, and if yours is a whole lot better across the board, they are just going to get out of the lobby. This has happened to me many times throughout Call of Duties, and especially in free-for-all as well. Like, I would win I would get out there and I'd win the match and I'd do it pretty well, and then the next thing you know, about within 5 to 10 seconds later, in the lobby page before we get into the next match, at least half of the lobby quits out. because there's a thing called a lobby leaderboard in like, let's say Black Ops 3, for instance. Or no, was it Black Ops 3? I don't know which one it was, but there's a lobby leaderboard in one of the Call of Duties, and the next thing you know, it's like, and they didn't even leave like right away. It's like it took 5 to 10 seconds, which basically is an indicator that they were looking up my stuff, and then it's like, oh crap, this guy's got a blah blah blah, and his score per minute is how much, and yep, I'm out. So yeah, what do you guys think? Should there be no combat record or stats page? Should they, should it be private? Should it be open? Is it just too overrated? Do we need to like not worry about that? Because there's logics behind everything. For instance, again, going back to what I said about players playing for stats, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you're gonna play for any stat, it's got to be win-loss more than anything else, right? It's win-loss. What do you play? You play to win, and well, you play to have fun, but you also play to win, right? That's one of the reasons. That's a fun activity in terms of what you play to win. This happens in sports all the time and all that kind of good stuff. So it's like, yeah. So, I mean, if you go out there and play street ball, maybe a few rounds against a pro basketball player would be fun and all, but after a little while, it might get boring if you have to play. If you consistently have to play with a bunch of pros, you're just going to get your ass handed to you left and right. So it is what it is. So, but for some other people out there, it might be fun. Who knows? I mean, it depends on the person, right? Which is why I'm making this a conversation, because I'm anticipating that there's going to be multiple points of view on this. Some people are going to be for the combat record. Some people are going to be against the combat record. Some people are going to want it to stay as basic as possible, and some other people are going to be like, you know what? I want every single stat to be up there. For me personally, of course, I appreciate the KD stat. I appreciate the win-loss stat. I like accuracy. That's one thing that I think is undervalued, in my opinion. I think how accurate you are is a really really important factor. I know that in Halo, it's a big deal. So I think for games like Call of Duty and XDefiant and all that kind of stuff, I think that's a big deal too. I think how accurate you are with your weapon and how many bullets you're hitting compared to how many you're missing is actually quite important in my humble opinion. But some people will agree, some people will disagree. Some people will actually think that that the accuracy stat means nothing, but I respectfully disagree. I think it means quite a lot. Some people will say that your accuracy stat is an indication of your play style. Like generally, people that are less aggressive are going to have a higher accuracy, and then people that are more aggressive are going to be less accurate than those people that are passive. And again, I respectfully disagree. I think that a skilled player can do both. I think they can be aggressive and accurate at the same time. And of course, if they need to be passive, they can still be accurate. So, and it also depends on the weapon that you use sometimes as well. But you guys get the point. I want to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on the whole combat record thing? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Do we need a good combat record? Does it not matter? Do we need to keep it basic? Should it be open? Should it be private? Lobby leaderboards, that sort of thing. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'm legitimately curious about this. So with that being said, thank you all for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.